Hey, how y'all doing out there? This is Pete over at D.I.Y. Auto School. Now, I do a lot of reviews on Harbor Freight tools. There's a lot of stuff that you buy that's good, a lot of stuff that you buy that's junk. When I was introduced to Harbor Freight several years back, when I walked in there and I saw all the tools that they sold and the stuff that they sold, it reminded me, the first thought that came to my mind is flea market. Flea market junk, flea market crap, flea market cheap, inexpensive price tools. But after I started going in there and realizing that Snap-on, you heard me right, I said Snap-on. I'm a big Snap-on enthusiast. I have a lot of Snap-on tools. But once I realized that Snap-on was so overpriced, and that, I don't want to spend, I don't want to take my paycheck and give half of it to Snap-on every week, because that's basically what happens. So I started realizing, if I need a tool and I'm not using it that much, why should I buy a Snap-on tool? If I need a screwdriver, why should I pay $300 for a set of screwdrivers from Snap-on when I can go buy a set of screwdrivers, and if it breaks, throw it away? So that's what got me interested in Harbor Freight. So I started doing my reviews, and the reviews are turning out to be pretty good. I tell a review like it is. If it's junk, it's junk, and I'll tell you it's junk. And if it's a good product, I'll tell you it's a good product. Because I believe that you should be honest when making videos. I get a lot of emails and a lot of phone calls of people that want me to advertise their goods on my YouTube channel. They want me to make review videos on their stuff. They're going to send me free items, and I'm going to make stuff. I don't do that. Everything that I review, I purchase. I pay for it out of my pocket. It's my money that I spend. I'm not getting this for free, okay? And when I do a review, it's a true 100% honest review. These people that you see doing reviews and they praise the video and say it's the best thing in the world, blah, 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 you know, and in the end, they make it sound like, you know, go out and buy it because you need it. They're getting this stuff for free. They're not paying for it. And the company expects you to do a 100% good video, which I will not do. If it's a cheap, inexpensive, junk crap item, I'm going to tell you that.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
This is a Central Forge multi-purpose 5-inch vise. Now, when I say 5-inch, that I mean multi-purpose. It's a swivel, okay, 5-inch maximum jaw. It's got a, what's that say, 2.85 jaw throat depth. All right, it's a 5-inch maximum jaw opening. And it's got a 2-inch pipe jaw capacity down on the bottom. So this is for pipes or material. And then also it's got a built-in Anvil plate on the top of it. Now I picked this up. This is I believe this is a $80 item over at Harbor Freight. With the coupon and being on sale, I gave $45 for this thing. They're comparing this vise. They're comparing this vise to a brand called Olympia, and I'd never heard of them. But they're comparing that this vise is the exact identical same replica of it as an Olympia vise, and the Olympia vise costs $125. So we're going to go ahead and get this out and check it out and see if this thing's any good. Now they do have another vise that's bigger than this, but it's not a swivel vise. This is the only swivel vise that Harbor Freight offers. It's made by Central Forge, multi-purpose, with Anvil. Now when they say Anvil, don't get confused. There's not an anvil in here. They're talking about this section right here. I've been wanting to get a new vise for a while. I actually got a vise on the other side on my metal table, but I don't have a vise on this table, so I figured, I was at Harbor Freight, and I almost bought a real expensive one, believe it or not. And then I thought to myself, man, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait out. I'm going to go to Harbor Freight. I'm going to see what they got, because a lot of stuff that Harbor Freight sells, like I said, is junk, but most of their heavy-duty stuff, which includes something like this, is usually a good item. All right, so we're going to open up the box here, and we're going to see what's inside it. So as we open the box up, we're going to see that the first thing we notice, as any other box that you open, is the owner's manual and safety instructions. We're not going to go through the owner's manual and safety instructions. We'll go ahead and flip the pages. It basically tells you what you got, what it is, and then basically, like any other safety instruction, action, it covers their ass in case you break your arm or pinch your finger or do anything to yourself in a harmful way. It covers their ass because it's all legal bullshit, and that's basically what we're reading here. It also has an assembly diagram on the back that shows you how it was put together. So it's basically a blueprint of the tool itself. And then there's a parts list here that kind of explains, if you need any parts, which on something like this, being $45, if it breaks, I'm sure that we would normally take this, throw it in the trash, or go buy another one. Because that's what we live in today. It's a throwaway world. $45, I'm not going to order parts for this from this company. I'm going to take it off, throw it in the trash, and be done with it. Let's go over this situation here. The most common thing on a vise that goes out are the straight jaws. And that's a straight jaw right there. You can see where they're pointing to them. Those actually screw to the vise. Now those are made out of carbon steel. So normally when you use those and abuse them, they will crack and break right in the center, and you end up taking those off and throwing them away. So you need to be real careful with those straight jaws, because those are breakable items. But as you can see in the picture, and I'll show you on the vise, they are replaceable if you want to replace them. It's got a base screw which will swivel it around, and then it's also got another screw here, which is the tilt screw, which tilts the vise and flips it over. So this is a double whammy vise. And what we got a regular vise on the top, and then we got a pipe vise or a circular vise on the bottom, which you can flip around and use that on the top. So this is basically two vices in one. The only issue I have, and we're going to check this out, is that when we're using this vise, this tilt screw right here will not be strong enough to hold the vise when we're working on super heavy duty stuff, but we're going to find out. Let's get it out of the box. This is basically the book that you get with it. We just went through it. Let's get it out of the box and let's see what we got. All right, on first lifting it out, I noticed that it is a solid vise. It's a heavy vise. It's not as big as I wanted. It seems like it's a smaller vise than I was expecting. And I'm going to go over and show you my other vise real quick. And if we come over here, you can see here is my old vise. This is my main vise right here. This is an all-in-one vise. You can see where those straight jaws are missing in this vise because, like I said, they're made out of carbon steel and they screw in there. I've never replaced those. This one also has a pipe vise built into it down here, but this is a bigger vise. This looks like approximately a 7-inch vise, and I've had this vise for many, many years, and it works very, very good. I purchased this over at Sears and Roebuck when Sears and Roebuck was in business. So after looking at that vise, I'm actually looking at this vise, and I'm also looking at the picture here. I'm looking at the picture, and I'm looking at the vise, and normally when you buy something like this, you go by the picture. You're not going to open the box in the store and take it out. But as I look at it, I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up, and then we'll take there we go, just like that. And I can see that it's a nice vise. It's an okay vise. Let's look at the top of this right here. Let me go ahead and turn that just a hair. And we'll go over some features of the vise. It's got a nice big handle right here to clamp down and to vise the item that you might have inside your vise itself. So that's actually pretty nice, and it looks pretty solid and sturdy. As we come over here, it's got a degree measuring device that can tell you, I guess, when you move the vise one way or the other. I don't know what this is for, I guess, to tell you that you're at that angle right there or that angle. So that might be good if you need that item. Personally, I don't really care about it. Another thing that this has is it has a measuring device on the back here, and as you turn the vise open, it actually measures how wide the jaw is open from 0. Now, how accurate that is, I don't know, but we're going to go ahead and check it. So I got a piece of 2.5-inch square tubing here. We're going to go ahead and put it in our vise and see if our measuring device on our vise is actually an accurate situation. So I got it open to 2.5, and I must say that it is pretty close. Let me go ahead and close that. And then we're going to come over here and look at it. And I got to say that that's actually pretty close. It's not 100% accurate, but let me take it out and then we'll, okay, because that's actually 2.5 inches. And if you look right there, 2.5 inches. And then this right here is reading a little over 2.5. Let's go ahead and move it into, there's 2.5 right there, that mark. So I would say that that's probably off by 1/8 of an inch. But it's still there for your use. Let me get this mounted on my table. We're going to check it out. And so far, my opinion on this thing, it's actually a good item.
Now's the time that you want to hit the subscribe button. Click on that bell for notifications and comment below. Because if you don't, this big blob of Mondo is going to be inside your bed covers tonight when you crawl in there, and it's going to get in places that we really don't want to talk about right now. Do, my friend, pay the favor and subscribe. Now, do it, or that Mondo's going to do you.
Well, I got my vise mounted on to the tabletop, and as I use it, it seems like it works very, very well. All right, I don't have any issues of binding up or what can we say, turning hard. Seems like that works. I noticed on both sides of this vise, if you look right here, there's a locking lever on both left and right sides of this vise. That makes it handy. On the vise that I showed you on my other bench in there, it's only got one locking device, and what happens is sometimes that'll get binded up and won't work properly, so having two of them might be a winner. As we turn the vise, I kind of noticed that it turns a little bit hard. That might be because the locking mechanisms are not loosened all the way. And another thing, I'm going to go ahead and let you know, don't ever loosen these all the way out, because there's actually a nut in there. And what happens, the nut will fall down, then you got to take your vise apart. You got to take it off the table, take it apart, and put it back together. And once you loosen it up, it seems like it'll turn and work okay. One thing I forgot to do that I want to suggest to everybody out there is, before you mount it to the table, and I didn't do it, I'm not going to lie to you, before you mount it to the table, you should take the vise pins off of the vise, separate the bottom plate from the vise itself, and put some grease inside there. I didn't do that. I might do that later, but I'm not doing it right now. But that will definitely help the spinning action as you move your vise. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten my pins up, my lock bolts. Okay, so once that's tightened down, it seems like it stays in place. Let's go ahead and loosen our pin on the right side of the vise itself and see how the machine spins. So if we loosen up this pin right here, and you don't have to do it a lot, we can see that the vise actually spins very freely. All right, it's a universal vise that, okay, hold on, what's going on here? It was spinning, okay, there it is, okay. So it spins freely, and it works good, and I'm happy with it. Here's our pipe vise. When we turn it over, you can see there's a pipe vise, and it also has some square jaws in here. I don't know what those would be for. If anybody knows what the square jaws right here are for, let me know, because I'd like to know what that's for. I know that down here is for our pipe, if we're working on pipe, which is very good to have, because I just got done putting all the pipe in my shop. And speaking of pipe, here's a piece of pipe right here. Let's go ahead and mount that piece of pipe in there and see how that thing works. And it seems to be grabbing onto it very nice. It's super tight. When I clamp down on it, I can feel it gripping, and I believe that this is a good pipe clamp to have if I ever need to do any more pipe work, which I still need to do. So what's the conclusion on our 5-inch central forge multi-purpose vise and / anvil on this subject? My decision is that this is a good buy. Even at $59, I think that's what it was. It was, regular price was $59. It's still a good buy. I think that it's made solid. It's made good. The measuring device on the back isn't as accurate as a tape measure would be. We found that out. But you know, who's going to complain about that at that price? I don't remember what the price of this was. I think it might have been $79, and I got it for $45. That's what it was. So it was $79 regular price. It was on sale for $59. I used my 25% off coupon. I got it for $45. What do we think of our central forge multi-purpose vise with anvil plate? What's my friend Pete's decision? My advice is, if you need a vise, get this vise, because this advice is the best advice you're going to get on buying a vise in person. This is a good item to buy. The price was right. This will last many, many years, and if it breaks, it will go in the scrap iron pile, because $45 today is nothing. $45 today is chump change, and if this thing breaks down or fails on me, I will definitely take this off, throw it in the trash, and go buy me another. Right here, you see it, 5-inch central forge multi-purpose vise with Anvil. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete, saying this Harbor Freight item is a good item to get.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.